morning. It's Monday morning. I just realized as I'm talking, I do have an assignment that I forgot to turn in last night, and I have a meeting with a professor this morning about said assignment. Okay, awesome. Well, anyway, I'm gonna go to the gym, and then I will be turning that in. So. We've got some catching up to do. It has been a few weeks, and I'm so sorry about that. In my defense, I'm a senior in capstones, and starting a vlog channel this time of year is probably not smart. And anyway, I haven't had time to edit anything together. I think this is all, like, I've been in this funk for the past few weeks and only just got out of it, like, this Tuesday. And it's so weird. I'm so glad to be on the other side of it. But it's almost like, you know how when you have a cold and it's just like, it hits you out of nowhere, it lasts for a few weeks or whatever. If you're really sick, it lasts for a few weeks, or it's just like one of those funky things that just kind of isn't bad, but it's not great, but it's not good. And it just suddenly comes and goes kind of randomly. It really just like went on Tuesday, and I feel so much better now. Like, you guys, mentally, I'm not saying I have had a cold. It's like a mental cold, you know what I mean? It's so good to be on the other side of it. Like, so good. You have no idea. But that being said, I've been like, you know, you say you're gonna do something, and it's just sitting there like laughing at you in the corner, being like, hey, you haven't looked at me, you haven't done anything with me. I kept being like, oh, I should record. Like, I should be doing that. Nobody's holding me accountable. I'm not getting paid for this. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I'm doing this because I love it. And the tricky thing about doing things because you love them is that sometimes you have to let yourself not do them and not feel guilty about it. And that is really hard. And it's weird too, because like I have it on my portfolio, right? I have it on my portfolio website that I'm doing this. And it's almost like I have that on top of it, the expectations of myself, on top of the expectations of anyone I'm sharing it with, you know, which isn't really true because I'm doing it for me and I'm keeping myself in mind at the end of the day. And even if, you know, some really important person runs across this and sees, wow, she hasn't posted in a few weeks. I'm in capstones. I'm in capstones, and I have to remind myself of that because it may not be a great excuse, but it's a reason. It may not be a great one, but it's a reason. Anyway, so today it is Saturday. I don't even know what day it is. It's after the formal. So yesterday was our school's formal. I took exactly one video that night because I couldn't bring myself to take more. I took a couple pictures, which I might throw in now, of just getting ready, and then there's some pictures from the day of, which I don't have yet, but maybe I'll put them in if I edit this together late enough that they've come out. It was a great time. I had a really nice dress. Also, guys, trying to be sustainable and cheap and get a good dress, I compromised a little bit, we'll say, on my own personal views on how you should purchase clothing for formals. It's really ironic considering my capstone is about sustainable fashion that I bought like probably one of the least sustainable dresses that I could have gotten. It wasn't Shein, it wasn't like one of those, but it was from a mall, and it was like really cheap fabric, and I know for a fact that I'm gonna wear that dress probably exactly one more time and then it's gonna be gone. Like, I'm not gonna keep that dress. And you can already see there's little pulls in the fabric. It's cheap. It's cheap. But it looks good. And it solves the problem, and it saved me money. And I feel bad about it, but also you gotta do what you gotta do. And I looked stunning. Maybe I'll have a picture by now. But anyway, that was last night. It was really fun. It was so funny. So like, all my roommates are dating people now, and it's just me doing my own thing. And I don't know, it was just like, I don't think about it, you know, because I'm just like, this is how it's always been. I've never been to a formal, and that's not true. I've been to one, I went to my senior prom with a guy. Other than that, I've never been to like a dance or a formal with a guy as a date. And this was by choice, you know, like, this was by choice, but it was still funny because I was just there like, oh yeah, I'm surrounded by couples, like, oh yeah, like, people are dating. Like, what's going on? Because normally, like, when I'm hanging out with my roommates, I don't hang out with their boyfriends too. That would be weird. And I really don't think about it that much. I'm just doing my thing, you know? But it was funny, like, oh yeah, slow dancing songs, right? Couples, got you. I did dance with some of my friends for a couple of those. Not saying I wouldn't be a little goofy with it, but yeah, it was really interesting. Yeah, I don't know. So I drove all my roommates to the place where we were taking the pictures. So my car was full of 5 people, and then from there I drove myself because all of them have boyfriends and they went to the dance with their boyfriends. And it's really just it's a weird time because I feel like they're trying to keep me included. They're trying to keep me a priority or whatever. But like, I'm like, dude, you do you. I am good. Definitely, it's just, I say that, but it is hard, you know? Like, it's hard when everyone else in your life seems to be moving forward. And it is really like Little Women with Jo, where she's talking about how, like, it doesn't bother me except for the fact that I'm alone, you know? Like, I'm lonely a little bit. And I'm still like, I'm vibing by myself. Like, I'm good. I'm totally chill, just doing my own thing. And I'm so good with, like, I have so many great friends. And most of them are actually also single, or at least half of them are also single. So it's not like I'm alone in that. It's just hard, I think, so we've all been close for years now. And it's like, it definitely feels like it is better the way Jo says it in Little Women, but it does feel like I'm behind a little bit in that, like, I'm honestly not interested in pursuing a relationship with anyone right now, and it is hard, like, I don't know, feeling like very different because of that. But anyway, it is a phase of life where we're in, like, the early 20s are kind of, loneliness is sort of built in, you know, like, loneliness is sort of built into this phase of life, and I'm okay with that. Like, I am accepting of that. But it did contribute to the, like, funk of, like, where my mental health was for the past couple weeks. And just, like, at the point of capstones where it feels like there's absolutely no end in sight and I'm getting nowhere and I'm spending a lot of time and it's getting nowhere. But I'm starting to see the other side. Like, I'm peeking over and I'm like, oh yeah, like, there's an end. There is one. And maybe I'll get a job after graduation. Maybe. Nothing on the horizon yet. Nothing really exciting. But, yeah. I'm just so happy to see my friends, like, getting things figured out in their lives. And I'm so happy for my friends that are dating. Like, I'm so happy for them. And, like, oh man, it was so sweet, like, watching everyone slow dancing. It was like watching I don't know, especially some of the people that just started dating. It was like, oh, I'm watching my, like, little brother, little sister start dancing, or, like, dating. That was a weird way to say it. I don't see them, like, that was a weird way to say it. You know what I mean? I'm just so proud of them. Like, I feel this, like, emanating from me. Like, wow, I'm so, like, look at them go, you know? Like, they're growing up. Yeah. So, I don't know. But yeah, taking myself out on a date today as kind of a, like, reminding myself that I'm here and I'm proud of myself first. And I can't get that fulfillment from other people. Other people can say that I'm a good whatever I want to be, like, good designer, good video editor, good whatever, good web designer, all the stuff that, like, I do that I enjoy doing, and I do because I enjoy doing it, not because I enjoy being good at it. And I feel like I have high priorities or high expectations for myself, and that's good. But when I get to the point where it's like I'm proving that I'm a good enough person because I'm a good enough web designer, that things start to fall off track. If I'm proving that I'm a good enough person because I'm a good designer in general, things start to fall off track. So today is kind of a return. And it always, like, I honestly don't really think that there are not that there aren't any new phases of life, but really I think it's much more significant to return to something instead of trying to create something you've never had. You've never had. It's like, for instance, I feel like half the time with my creative process, I'm returning to how I thought as a kid, you know? I'm returning to how I was when there were no expectations put on you, you know? How you were, if you could make anything and have no balance to that. And so I feel like that's often where I go back to Obviously you want to be grounded in reality, you want to be grounded in the moment, but it's usually about a return rather than a creation of a new thing. But that can be even more beautiful because it's inspired by and shaped by your perception of the life, like you're not just going back to as you were as a kid. You're not throwing out all of that experience that you've had. You're taking that experience and re-viewing it, imagining, repicturing it from that lens of a child. Like you're taking your life and you're repicturing it in a new way. And I think that's productive, right? Like you're not throwing out your brain, you're not going back to wishful thinking, magical thinking of like I'm a child and the world doesn't exist, It's also like it's just being more imaginative and free about it. So I don't know. Anyway, all that to say, today is going to be pretty fun. I'm going to a coffee shop, and I brought this book that I've been reading. And I think I probably have mentioned it on here because I've been reading it for a few weeks now. I'm taking my time with it, like I don't usually do with books. I usually just read them very quickly. Take a lot of notes, but I read them very quickly. Who Will Pay Reparations on My Soul. I actually got this book out when I was filming the portfolio video that I did, where I was out in downtown Dublin, and I filmed right outside the library, so I had gone in and grabbed this book while I was there because I was like, I feel awkward just filming in front of it and not going in. So I returned a couple books and I picked this one up as well. It's really, really good, and I can't even, I'm only halfway through, I'm only just over halfway, and it's so good. It's so good. Talking a lot about Black history and what it means to be like a Black artist, and just things that I never, ever would experience. And what I love the most about it is it's written almost as like a dear friend, showing you the thing that they're passionate about. Not shaming you for not knowing about it, not making you feel bad for never having heard about their passion and their interest. It's almost like you're just being introduced to a whole new group of people, and you have this really... I ran out of space on my phone, so I had to delete a couple videos. But what I was saying is, it's almost like you have this really kind friend that's reintroducing you, or we're introducing you to something that they're interested in and passionate about. And I love that there's no shaming and no guilt tripping for not knowing, and it's just really it makes you excited about it because it is exciting and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And it's not about the suppression of other people's voices, but the recognition and admiring of certain people. And the fact that their work is good is an inherent interest, Anyway, so that's all that to say. I'm going to be reading this book over at a coffee shop, and then I'm planning to come back over here. I parked in this extra parking for the museum, so I should probably be going to the museum. But I was planning to already. This is going to be my 4th time going. I'm really excited because the last couple times I've been with other people, and so I've been able to see the pieces from their perspective or to watch them reacting to the pieces. But I haven't seen myself reacting for a while, and the last time I went by myself was back in October, I think. So it's been a few months. I think probably 5 months now. Yeah, 5 or 6 months now. Wow, guys. That's been so long. I remember those weekends, October-ish, I started recording little clips of myself for the first time, and I can't believe how long it's been since I uploaded a vlog, but that was the beginning, Anyway, so I am gonna go to that coffee shop and get some coffee cortado and get reading, so catch you guys there. Dude, I'm never dressing for the weather. Here we are in the freezing cold. But guess what, guys? I accidentally came to the art museum on the best day, and I just got a book signed by an actual comics illustrator, so catch me freaking out about that later. But I'll catch you guys later. Bye!